Let's catch you up on a few stories that should be on your radar. It's time for Rapid Fire, and this is a pet-free edition today. Here with their takes are Seema Modi, Michelle Caruso-Cabrera is back, and Dominic Chu is here as well. Welcome to everybody. First up, shares of Weight Watchers. This is the stock story of the day. These shares are taking more than 30% on a huge earnings miss and weak full-year guidance. The company has been going through a rebranding, trying to focus on wellness. They're calling themselves WW now. They're even going to change the ticker. They signed a partnership with Kohl's. We talked about it a little while back that we couldn't quite figure out. Guys, what do you think turns this around now?
I would say this is a company that's in a transformative stage. It's trying to rebrand itself as a platform and a lifestyle brand as opposed to just the weight loss, counting calories thing. And those evolutions don't come without some kind of pain. And I mean, obviously pain is one thing. Losing a third of your market value is something completely different.
Here's a question, because I'm bombarded with ads for Noom. Isn't that, and people tell me, oh, yeah, this is like the new millennial thing. Is there any truth to that? Is point counting not working?
Well, I think it serves as an example of why Weight Watchers is having so much trouble, just given the number of competitors that are already out there that also have done a great job with their Instagram marketing and getting in front of that millennial base.
So, yeah, the Oprah effect, Michelle, is also now
I got the impression from what they said was that millennials are less interested in losing weight, right? That's it, you know, and my experience on the subway would suggest that as well from what I see. But, you know, most of these other weight loss companies have a product that you buy. You don't have to think. You don't have to do anything.
You can get meal kits.
Right.
Things like that, which is very handy. I mean, that's a big difference than trying to have to go through your day, add everything up, and figure.
Weight Watchers a little more personal responsibility. So maybe they're just not the kind of weight loss for the time.
I just don't know if I don't know. I'm not sure you can categorize it as just millennials because they're the ones who eat avocado toast stereotypically and everything. I mean, so they're concerned about their health. They just maybe don't subscribe to this idea that you need a system or a calorie counting approach or some kind of a meal kit or anything else to do that.
And I'm also told certainly not by our executive producer, who wouldn't know anything about this, but that they've changed their point system to make it. I remember, like I've told, doing this years ago, and you know, if you had fruit or vegetables, that was 0
points.
But now the proteins are a 0, and you know, when you get used to doing one set of things, and all of a sudden they're telling you, no, you have to, because like you said, it's hard enough to kind of figure it out, and then they change it up. That's a tough one.
It's not as fun, but doesn't this also serve as a great case study for companies that think they can just bring in a powerful celebrity status individual and think that that person can help reinvent the brand? This certainly tells us that that doesn't always exist. It can happen. Gigi Hadid with Tommy Hilfiger. There's also Kylie Jenner, some of the makeup brands. They've done a great job with those celebrities.
So they need a Kardashian.
I don't know if they want to go there.
That's my takeaway, is Weight Watchers needs a Kardashian. Next, is shares of Best Buy are soaring today on a big earnings beat. The company had solid holiday sales. That's a very different narrative than what we've heard from other retailers. Appliances, wearables, and smart home devices all boosting sales.
It feels like a lot of these retailers have maybe finally right-sized, and we went through this period where, gosh, we thought some of these brands were really going to go out of business. They reduced
Best Buy was one of them.
They reduced their square footage. They figured out service really matters. So you know,
Geek Squad.
I think the old big secular trends that we talk about a lot are still there. More and more moving on, more and more consumers moving online, but they're starting to capitalize and be multi-channel so they can get that.
Well, right here in Rapid Fire, over the course of the past few weeks, we brought up a couple of things. You guys talked about Garmin before and how their results were powered by fitness devices and everything else. Wearables.
And for your pets.
And for your pets. But also this idea that Electronic Arts and all these gaming companies were trying to find Fortnite killers. Well, Fortnite was a big reason why they did it, because video gaming consoles were a big seller, and they attributed some of that to the Fortnite craze that was going on. So if you look at the way those secular trends are playing out, Best Buy is in a position where they are now price matching Amazon. They give people the ability to go to the store, touch it, and say, hey, if you can find it on Amazon for cheaper, we'll honor the Amazon price and give it to you right there. So these are all maybe working out for them in a way that, like Michelle said,
seems to be working.
Is working.
Look at the stock. Back in 2016, it was at $26, and today it's at $70. So this pricing structure, these new plans that they've unveiled, seems to be working for now.
And we're not even talking about the fact that they boosted their dividend 11% and put $3 billion to a
$3 billion buyback.
Right.
And from a consumer perspective, I would add that Best Buy almost has an advantage on Amazon because of the Geek Squad. Because somebody will install it for you. As opposed
I see those vans
ordering a
TV
TV from Amazon. They're so enormous.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
I totally agree.
Somebody install it, please.
Yes, seriously. Next up, shares of Campbell Soup getting a boost after the the company beat on both the top and bottom lines. Quarter was helped by the snack that smiles back, Goldfish, V8 juice, and Pepperidge Farm cookies. Soup was not so hot. That's not news. Dom, this comes as Kraft Heinz, again, at the lowest levels since that company was put together.
Well, so for better or worse, we are now going to start benchmarking all of these consumer staples companies against Kraft Heinz because of just what happened to Kraft Heinz and the write-down of their brands. But not all consumer brands, and we mentioned it during the Kraft Heinz Day, have been taking as big as hits as perhaps Oscar Mayer or Kraft have.
But a lot of Campbell's brands are not exactly.
No, there's no doubt. The stock has not been a great performer at all. There's no doubt about that. The idea here is if you are trying to evolve with consumer tastes, there are going to be some issues along the way. I don't know if salty soups or canned goods are going to be the savior that they could be for people like Campbell's, but that's not to say that Campbell's should be given up for dead.
Goldfish are a gold mine as far as I'm concerned.
And on top of that, the beverage category, as you pointed out, did pretty well. V8 vegetable juice, which I was sort of surprised by, just given the emergence of juice cleanses and shakes and this healthy trend going towards kale juice.
What I
think that people would steer away from.
But
V8.
no one drinks orange juice anymore. Everyone thinks
because I think it has too much sugar.
Yes, orange juice is the new soda.
Although if you're in Paris, that's the first thing you get when you go to a cafe in the morning, right?
Well, and they have such an obesity problem there.
I'd never own Campbell's soup because I think it's got this weird board structure that doesn't tell me that the board is actually as interested. This is why Dan Loeb has been so involved.
Right.
I mean, they got other issues
until they sort that
out.
They've still done relatively better than Kraft Heinz, but you can see they're still down 18% over that period. Moving on, a battle is beginning between Ivanka Trump and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Trump saying most Americans don't want a guaranteed minimum income like the one proposed by the representative in her Green New Deal. Ocasio-Cortez replied to that, saying, as a person who actually worked for tips and hourly wages in my life, instead of having to learn about it secondhand, I can tell you that most people want to be paid enough to live. A living wage isn't a gift, it's a right. Workers are often paid far less than the value they create.
Okay, living wage is different than universal basic income. A living wage suggests you're actually working, number one. So she's already started to diffuse and conflate and change the words of what she originally meant, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And so many of these concepts are flying around willy-nilly.
Absolutely. And a living wage isn't a gift, it's a right. Everything's suddenly become a right to this, a right to that. No, what I think Ivanka Trump was trying to say is that people want to work, and they want to work for a living and not just get a handout. It is core to dignity. It's core to the American way.
Yes.
I mean, I would say this. I would say that, like to your point, we toss around these terms like modern monetary theory, UBI, universal basic income, living wages. I'm not sure a lot of folks exactly know what they mean. And so before we go, I mean, first of all, listen, I know that there are millions of Americans out there who are working hard or trying to find work to give themselves a chance at doing well for themselves and their family. This is not to slight them at all. But the point here is I'm not sure if those systems are things that can be put into place effectively at all, and certainly not something the markets or the economy would be able to sustain. And even Fed Chair Jay Powell said it during his testimony over the course of the past couple of days.
I think minimum wage, though, has been a hot button issue for years, and it will likely become one for the 2020 presidential election. I think why this specific debate has gotten a lot of attention because you have AOC, former bartender, and then you have Ivanka Trump, the daughter of a billionaire, now also special advisor to the U.S. administration. But that backdrop, that context certainly fuels some opinion.
The juxtaposition certainly doesn't help.
It makes it very easy for AOC to dismiss this. It'd be interesting to see if there's somebody who can step forward and say, okay, I was not born into the Trump family, but I can tell you that I hear the same thing from my constituents or from people across the country. And, the message is not flawed just because of the messenger, shall we say. Topic 5, FedEx is partnering with Walmart and Pizza Hut to test a last-mile delivery robot this summer. This is still requiring approval from test cities, including FedEx's hometown of Memphis. There you can see what the robot is apparently going to look like. The real effort, guys, is to have same-day delivery for things like groceries and pizza, where that would be really important.
I think it'd be really cool. I hope it works. I'm trying to think of a robot going down the streets of New York City.
Yeah, good luck getting
Good luck. I don't know. But if it can be done, amazing.
Without being tackled, stolen. I mean,
yes,
what happens in that case?
I don't know. I think
graffiti,
it'd be amazing to watch.
Drone deliveries of Amazon packages. I mean, this is all coming, right? I just don't know how long it takes to get there. But at the same time, 5-10 years ago, I didn't ever think that I would be getting all of my stuff hand delivered to my front doorstep.